Welcome back to part 2 of redoing the headliner board. Before we go outside and I show you guys how to install it, and then of course you'll do the opposite of what I'm doing if you are starting this project from the beginning and uninstalling it. I don't have any videos of me uninstalling all of it, but like I said, you'll just do the reverse of what I'm doing. I'm going to show you all the pieces that have to come out so that you know, and I'll also tell you which pieces have to come out first. And the reason why I say that is because some of the pieces actually hold up the headliner board and other pieces are just in the way because the edges of the headliner board kind of tuck behind some of these pieces, and so you won't be able to have the headliner board come out unless those pieces are removed. You will also notice there, you can see some over there, but I have one right here that I painted mine. And the reason why I painted mine was because on my Land Rover, I always thought it looked weird. It was essentially black seats and black. I guess from the torso down, everything is black, and then for whatever reason, the top part is tan. And I hated the fact that I had black and tan. So though I wasn't gonna make everything black, I got some of this red gloss acrylic enamel paint. Any paint that is rated for a decent amount of temperature and for plastics you can use. I picked this up from AutoZone. The product is U-Pol or U-Pol. I don't know how to pronounce that. There you go. They don't sponsor this. I'm just letting you guys know what product I used. But like I said, any interior automotive plastic paint will work. Like I said, this is acrylic. It worked well. You will see some of my pieces. There's some spots where I kind of rushed to put the Land Rover back together because at the time of doing this project, I was daily driving this Land Rover. And so I couldn't wait for some of the pieces to dry any longer. And so you will see little spots where essentially two pieces touched and some of it came off on one and the other part it stuck to. So let's go ahead and show you all of that, and so you kind of have an idea of what you're going to have to uninstall in order to get the headliner board out. So these are all the pieces that you have to essentially uninstall in order to get the headliner board out. I'm not going to go over every piece. You'll see as I reinstall them what it originally was or where it goes, but I am going to point out a few pieces that have to come out first before you take out the things that hold up the headliner board. The first set of things are these. These are the A-pillar covers. They are, you can see they have the speakers in them. Those have to come out first. These are for the seat belts. This is essentially, where you adjust your seatbelt height and stuff, like for the shoulder strap. Those have to come out also. These two big honking pieces, they are in the back in the trunk, or the, what do you guys call it out in the UK? The, bonnet's the front. So the boot, I don't know if that's right, but we're going to go with it. But anyway, these go in the back. They are essentially up against the side. You can see the where the window sits on each of them. And that's it for the pieces that have to come out first. All the rest of these pieces that you see actually, like up here, essentially hold up the headliner board. So when I go to install this back in, I'm going to do all these pieces first, and then after that, install these other pieces. So let's hop on over to the Land Rover and let's get this thing back in. So we got the headliner board inside the Land Rover. You can see how it's sitting now. I'm just going to give you a few key points on how to make your life a little bit easier when trying to get this to go back in. I will say that you are going to have to do a little bit of shoving and a little bit of bending of the board. Just make sure you don't bend it and or bend it so far it breaks. The section in the rear is narrower than the front part. So once you get it past essentially these parts, it goes right in. But as you are trying to get this in, you're going to have to kind of like fold the edges a little bit and or do it kind of at this angle and then scrape it upwards. And what I mean scraping it is you can see right here as I was essentially trying to straighten it out, it was scraping the sides. You're not going to hurt it. Just make sure that you don't like I said, bend it until it like breaks. You don't want to fold it or anything. You need to keep it as the same shape as long as possible. But another tip, or tips I should say, is let's go to the side of the vehicle. As you can see, the rear seats are folded forward. You do absolutely have to do that, or you can remove the seats. I don't remove the seats because in the front, I kind of use it to help me hold up the headliner board. I install the front pieces first and then work my way back when it comes to installing the parts that actually hold up the headliner board. That is the easiest way for me to do it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that the 5 times I've done this, and I am serious when I say 5 times, because I've had leaks in this sunroof for a long time and I keep having to like do patchwork. And like I said in previous videos, I end up just redoing the whole thing. But we're going to go ahead and secure this. I'm not going to treat you guys like idiots by showing you each individual piece. I'm going to set up the camera. I'll do a time lapse of me installing the pieces and you can kind of tell. I will pause the video and show certain portions so that I can show you the parts where I had trouble with, but the majority of this will be another time lapse. Alrighty, so ignore the camera angle for a second and just listen. I ended up installing this whole headliner board to realize that two of the screw placements, which originally looked like this, over here, that one and that one, were brittle and broken. And so I had to uninstall the whole thing. So learn this lesson from me right now. Inspect these right here. They're made of plastic. Some of them are kind of brittle. What I did was I got a number 8 U-clip and place them in and kind of place them at like an angle. You can kind of see the wonky angle that it's at. Because if you just place them in normal, the hole will end up being like over here, that where you put the screw in, and you can't have that. So you kind of have to kind of jankily shove them in there, but I promise it will be okay and it'll work. And yeah, let's now redo this whole time lapse and watch me install this back up. And hopefully this is the last tip I'm going to give you. Alrighty, so we got everything in. You saw on the time lapse. Now I just want to show you the tip or a few tips about putting the cover for the seat belt. First thing you'll notice is there's on these pieces, there's an L on this one. That is left side or driver side. And then their other one has a P on it for passenger. I do not know why they did L and passenger. I guess it's a British thing. Who knows? British people, explain that one to me if you're watching this. But you will notice on a lot of Land Rover parts, that's how they distinguish between driver side and passenger. It's left and passenger. So look out for that. Also, if you haven't uninstalled this, okay, and you're watching this before you kind of do this whole project, I want you to pay attention to these clips. What you're going to have to do is kind of move this rubber seal out of the way on both sides. Both when I say both sides, I mean the driver front and the driver rear. I'm going to go ahead and remove it over here too. And these little clips go around the metal. So what you're going to do is this hole lines up with the nut on the actual seat belt. Here, let me try to give you guys a better angle. So that little hole goes on that nut. It's a little dark, I apologize. And then down here, you do have this, and you will have to remove the bottom of the seatbelt and feed it through. I'll try to give you guys an angle of that real quick. Let me see if I could do that for you. Be patient with me on the thing. Can you see? Yeah, kind of the weird angle. Let me pop this. You're going to pop that little cap off. And then this is an 18 millimeter bolt head. Now, I will say that I would use an impact on this because it's your seatbelt. So you want to make sure it's anchored in. So let me go grab my impact and remove this bottom bolt, and then I'll show you how I feed it through. Alrighty. I want you also to notice the nut, or not the nut, the spacer on the bolt here. There is a certain sequence you have to do this in. the spacers, come on now, get off. The spacers are on this side of the seatbelt. So remember that. Now, we're going to feed it through just like this. Make sure you feed the whole thing through, including the actual buckle itself. And then what you're going to want to do is you might have to adjust your seat and all that mess so that you can actually access it. But you might have to adjust this to line it up. I like to go all the way down with it because it's out of the way. Let me adjust you guys. I adjust this all the way down, the seatbelt adjuster, and then place it down here, and you can kind of see it, the belt is holding itself up. Now you do have a clip. Let me keep rotating this up. Maybe I can't. There we go. There is a clip up here, right there, and all it does is just slide in. But before you do all that, before you make sure you get that clip in, like I said before, line that bolt head up on the seatbelt top portion first. So it should be like that. Now, these little tiny clips I was mentioning about, you could see they kind of go around this little metal. Let me get it kind of in, and then I'll bring you guys on a close-up. And I'm glad I'm doing this for you guys now, because if you've never done this before, it is a pain in the butt to uninstall if you don't know what you're doing. Let me bring it closer. See how, oh, let me get my camera right. See how that little red clip went around that metal? We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and I'll do this. I'll try to hold this and do it live while I'm doing it, so you can see what I'm talking about. See how that clip goes around that? And then up here, the same thing. Now, as you do, you want to do these first. There we go. You want to do these first, and then just tap it in the top. Okay? Now, that's all lined up. We're going to put the rubber back on, and it will close that gap, you see, and it should look really flush. Now this, see how flush it looks now? It's going to fill up that gap. Now make sure you push it all back in real well, because this is your door seal, and you don't want to cause any leaks because of this. Okay, we're back in business. Always check this, make sure it actually goes up and down. And then we're back to square one down here. See if I can get you guys a good angle again. There we go. Now, your plate is going to go like that. So your buckle and everything, if you see, is facing inwards towards the vehicle. Bolt with washer. Little spacer. A big spacer. And then that is going to go into here. And like I said, you might have to adjust this seat a lot to get all this in. But now, I don't know what you guys have. I have a DeWalt. I put my setting on 2, which I'm not too familiar with how much pounds of torque it is, but then it's all installed. Put the cap back on, and that's it. You're all good to go. You can see how I did the other side, but here we go. It's all installed. Looks, oh, let me make sure this camera's good. Looks great. Now, we're going to work on those A panels. Now, I do want to mention mine are a little janky. And so I have to put mine in and then glue them in, but we won't talk about that. Hopefully you don't have to do that with yours. And I'm not going to teach you how to do that because it's not the right thing to do. It's just what I'm doing to get past it all. So let's go ahead and start putting these in, and then we'll do a final walkthrough of the project being done and how it looks. Alrighty, we're doing our final piece, the A columns on both sides. I'm going to show you guys how they go in. I'm not going to record that part. I'm just going to kind of point it out. There's 3 tabs. Mine's a little broken, so I'm going to have to glue some stuff to keep it up. But with all that being ignored, you have, like I said, these 3 tabs, and they go into one of each of these 3 holes, and they just get snapped in and pulled out pretty easily. Be gentle, because you'll do what I did, which is snap mine. You can see mine are pretty damaged. This one's even missing, and I'm, like I said, gonna have to glue it. So we're gonna go ahead and handle this, and then we're gonna show you guys the after.
Here's a final look, guys. As you can see, it looks great. I am really proud of myself, and I hope you guys like it too. And I hope I answered all your questions on is it worth it to paint your headliner board. If you like this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.